Hey there, a new NiFi video. I want to talk about the latest improvements that we've made to the GitHub action for the Flow Diff. So I want to share a bit what we've been working on lately. So I already made a video for this, and I will share the link in the description of that video. But I want to give an update and just to make sure everyone is on the same page, I will just explain a bit again what all of this is about. So in NiFi, you have this concept of Registry Clients, which is a way in NiFi to version control your flows. And historically, it's always been done with the NiFi registry, which is a dedicated component for that purpose. But with NiFi 2, we introduced a new set of registry clients where you can version control your flows directly into a Git-like solution. So you can see all of those options by going into controller settings and then registry clients. And here you can add a new option here. So you have the NiFi registry option that has been there for, well, all the time. And then you have options like GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket. And there is a pull request being reviewed right now for Azure Git DevOps option. So that's also coming. But here, in this case, I will focus on GitHub because I want to talk about a GitHub action that we have that is helping you with all of the, let's say, developer experience when you are versioning flows and making modifications to those flows and submitting your changes through a pull request. So I really want to go through that process of versioning a flow, making changes and stuff. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. And if you remember, I already made a video about this GitHub action that was available with Datavolo last year. But now this is something that is provided by Snowflake, and actually if you go to the marketplace, that's what you would see. So you can go to the marketplace on GitHub and search for Snowflake Flow Diff, and that's the description you have, some documentation on how you can use it. And we will just go through it. That's very easy. Okay, so the first step before I go start deploying stuff is to actually have a GitHub repository where I will be versioning my flows. So here I will just go to my GitHub account and just create a new repository here. And I will be the owner. I will just do NiFi demo, NiFi demo. that's good enough. So just for a demo, I will keep it private. No template. Let's say that we add a README. Doesn't really matter. And then we create the repository. Okay, so you then can go to the NiFi UI and add GitHub registry client. So let's do that. And here in the configuration, you can see that you have a few options. So here, the owner, it will be me. The repository name is NiFi-demo. And then you have a few options for the authentication type. In my case, I will use the personal access token. And I'm going to copy paste the value here. Branch is main for the default. I could provide a repository path in case I want to version flows into a subdirectory of my repo, but that's not something I'm going to do. Here it's for excluding some files that should not be considered, especially if you have like directories starting with a dot. That's the default. That's great. That's what we want. And then there are some strategies around parameter context and what to do with parameters. I will come back to this. This is something that is new. that was added in NiFi 2.4, I think. So that's something I will be coming back to. So just give me a second, I will copy paste the value. Okay, so I've configured my token, I can just apply, and that's it. So it's just all I need to do. I can go back to the canvas, and now I can start doing things. So the first thing I can do is, for example, to create a process group. Let's say my first flow, and I will add a generate flow file processor here. And if I go to the process group, I can say start version control. So I have my registry clients, main branch, and I didn't create any directory in my repo. So the first time you use it, we just create one for you so that you are not stuck. And this is a default one. So here, my first flow, some description here, and let's say initial version here. So I can save, and this is going to save things into my repository. So here we can see there is the green check here saying that this is basically versioned and this is the latest version. So if I go back to my repo here and I refresh, I will see that I now have a default directory here, and if I go into it, there will be my first flow JSON file, where this is basically the JSON that is representing the flow that I just designed. Okay, cool. So that's really how things are working. Here I could now start making changes. Let's say add invoke HTTP processor to make HTTP calls, connect the two together. And if I refresh here, you can see that there are some changes here. So I can right click, version, commit local changes, and I can say edit invoke HTTP, for example. So that's great. This is a new version, and you can see now this is up to date. I can now change version. If I want to go back to the previous version, I can go to the initial version, and this is going to get me back to the previous version. And here I have the previous version where I have only the generate flow file processor, and I can see that there is a new version available, and I can do the change again and go to the latest. So very, very straightforward here, nothing really specific. Now I want to talk about the GitHub version. So there is, the GitHub action. So if you look at the documentation here, basically what this action is providing you is a way to make things easier for you when you are submitted changes and you want to submit those changes on your flow through a pull request, like very much the developer experience, right? So what you will do is to use branching. So something that is also great with those new registry clients, which is not something that is supported with the NiFi registry, is the ability to deal with branches. So here I could go to my branches here, create a new branch out of main. I would create a dev branch, create new branch, and now I have two branches. And so here, if I go back to NiFi, I could check out, so import from registry, which is the icon here, and I could say, oh, I want to check out from the dev branch, and I want to get the latest from the dev branch. So that's great. So here, you can see here, this is the dev branch. You can see it here. When here, this is the main branch, right? So what you want to do is to, okay, I created a branch so that I'm going to make my changes. That's great. I can go in there and I can say, okay, I did the invoke HTTP and now I want to, I don't know, update attributes, something stupid, like really just nothing that makes sense just for the purpose of it. So I could do this. I could, here I could add safe loop on retry, And I could also relationship, I could terminate, failure, no retry, original, and I want the response to go here. Okay, great. That's great. We have this update and I want to submit the changes. So commit local changes, some comments. I don't have anything coming to mind. So here I submitted some changes on my dev branch. If I go back to GitHub here, it will tell me, oh, you made some changes on the dev branch. Do you want to compare with main and submit a pull request? So let's do that. Okay, some comments, that's the pull request, and I can create a pull request. And that's how you will do to work on a new version of a flow without touching anything on the main branch, which probably represents what is in production. And you can open a pull request and you can see the changes, and yeah, you can look at the changes and do a review, right? So let's switch to splits and here. So you can review the changes. Okay, we have some things, some stuff here. Okay, but I mean, you can see this is a diff between two JSON files. This is not super easy to review. That's not the easiest. I mean, you can do it, but if the changes are quite big, this is not great. And that's where the GitHub action is actually interesting, right? So let's deploy it. So I will actually close the pull request here, and I will delete the branch, and I will go back to the code, right? Okay, so I'm back here. Now let's deploy let's configure the GitHub action on my repo. So everything is explained here. So basically, you can add the below file to the repository. So let's just copy here. Well, actually, let's do create new file here, and we want to copy paste this here, and then copy here and this here. Great. So let's have a look. So this is on pull requests. Okay, great. This will check out the code. We'll check what are the files that have changed, and then take this and then send it to the Flow Diff action. That's really what this is about. And you could just do that. Now, if we keep scrolling in the documentation, there is also a new feature that is actually quite interesting here, which is Checkstyle. Checkstyle is something new that is actually going to run some rules on top of your flow and the changes that you are submitting to check if you are following best practices of NiFi. So this is obviously something that we are always improving, and suggestions, requests are more than welcome to add those rules and always have more things that we are checking for. So you can just add this flag here. So let's do this. We add the flag, checkstyle is true. And I won't do it, but by default, we would execute all of the rules. But maybe you want to specify only some specific rules with some specific configuration and stuff like this. So you will be able to specify this checkstyle rules file as a YAML file into your repo. So you just create it at this path here, and you can provide the content of that file. So that's it. And then you see the rules that are available right now. There is one checking for concurrent tasks. There is one checking that you have snapshot metadata in the file. One that is making sure that there is no parameters set to empty string. One, to check default parameters, so making sure that you are aware that some default values are provided to parameters. Unused parameter, if you have a parameter that is actually not used in the flow but still defined. Self loop is something that we like make you aware of. Like usually, since we have the retry mechanism directly in NiFi, we are usually discouraging the use of self loop. It's not always something that you want to remove, but most of the time you don't want self loop connections anymore. Possibility to enforce prioritizers, because usually when you want to use a prioritizer on the flow, you want to use it everywhere in the flow. So this is something that you can enable to check that this is used correctly everywhere. So as you can see, just a few rules, but we are adding new rules all the time. So that's how things are working. Right, so I will just enable checkstyles true, and that's it. Commit changes directly to the main branch, commit changes, and that's it. So now you have the GitHub action. So I can go back to NiFi, and actually here I can, I can go back here and now do the process again, basically of creating a new branch, dev here, create new branch. Okay, great. I can go back here. This I will remove, and I will check out again. Here, dev defaults, my first flow. Okay, here. So great, I'm going to kind of do the same again. So go back here, say, oh, okay, update attributes here, and I will do something very stupid here where I'm saying 10 concurrent tasks here. I will connect the two here, and we said that I want to do response here, and then I want a self loop retry here. Okay, and I will auto terminate the other ones, terminate, no retry, original. Okay, apply. So that's kind of the changes that I wanted to do, and then commit local changes, some comments here, save, and I can go back to GitHub now, and it will tell me the same again, or maybe not automatically. No, this time it doesn't want to tell me automatically because I closed the PR before. So it's okay, new pull requests, and I will just say compare dev to main and please create pull request. Okay, create pull requests. That's it. This is going to automatically trigger the action. You can see it here. We can just wait a bit. This is usually taking like 30 seconds, something like that. We can check in the JSON. This is still very much something that is, well, not super fun to read. Yeah, that's okay, but that's not really fun to read. So we can come back here. The action is still in progress. What it's doing is perfect. So this is going to add a comment to the pull request, and this is basically saying, okay, in this pull request only one flow changed, my first flow. So sometimes you are changing multiple flows at the same time, and you have the checkstyle violations. So it's basically telling you, oh, be careful, the update attribute is configured with 10 concurrent tasks. That's not great. And invoke HTTP has a self-loop connection for the relationships retry, which is not something we recommend. This is fine. Again, this is not something you would need to act on 100% of the time, but this is still something that we are not really recommending. And then it's telling you, oh, okay, connection success has been added from generate flow file to update attributes. And the update attribute is here with this configuration. Self-loop connection added, connection from invoke HTTP, the connection response from invoke HTTP to update attribute. And then we auto-terminated no retry original failures. And this is exactly what I've done in terms of changes. So that's great. That's great. That's really helpful in terms of reviewing the pull request. Now, if I go back to NiFi, because, okay, this is good feedback, so I want to consider those changes. So here, I will change the number of concurrent tasks from 10 to 2. And here, instead of doing a retry like this, I will use the framework level recommendation. So instead of doing a self-loop connection, I will click retry here and I will say, okay, retry 10 times. And if after 10 times this is still not working, I will just auto-terminate. So that's better. I will commit those changes, let's say PR review, and save. Okay, I can go back to the pull request here. We have some changes coming on the PR here. The action is going to be running again because we want to check now what happened with the latest changes. So again, it's going to run for maybe half a minute, and this will be adding a new comment to the pull request, checking for the changes that you just made. So let's wait a bit. And once we have the new comments, we will check that we don't have any checkstyle violation anymore. That's exactly what we have here. Still the details of what are the changes. That's great. I want to merge the pull requests, and yeah, I want to delete the branch. So now in main, I have a new version here. That's great. I can go back to NiFi. I can go back here. So something that is important to keep in mind is that NiFi will check automatically for changes in the remote repository only every 30 minutes, unless this is configured. Like there is a change coming with NiFi 2.6 where you can actually specify this frequency in NiFi.properties, but right now if you're using latest, we are checking every 30 minutes. This is to make sure you are not impacting the rate API limits of the systems you are connected to. But again, like in NiFi 2.6, there will be a NiFi.properties option to configure with a different value. But here, since I deleted the dev branch, this icon here will change to the question mark. No, the question mark, because we no longer have a dev branch in the remote repository. So actually this, I can just delete. And here, if we wait a bit, NiFi will tell me, oh, there is a new version. I can update. But since I know there is a new one, I can just click change version. This will force the refresh. I can see here that I have the update. I see 2 commits because when I merged the PR, I didn't squash the commits. This is a mistake. I should probably squash the commits into a single one, but I went a bit too fast. Anyway, that's the reason I see 2 commits here. I will just go to the latest, and this is going to update things. And now I have the latest version of my flow with the changes. Okay, that's great. That's what I wanted to show. Just one final comment on the property that I was mentioning at the beginning here, parameter context values. So here it's a strategy where you can provide some instructions on how we should deal with parameters. So usually when you have a flow, your process group is attached to a parameter context which contains parameters. So basically keys values that are strings, right? And when we submit those parameters to the Git repo, by default, this will be retained. So if you provide some parameters with some values and you commit those, what you have locally is what is going to be pushed to the repository, which is probably fine. But if you have some values, for example, let's say you have a flow that is connecting to some Kafka brokers, you probably have a value for the dev, and you will have a different value for production. And you probably don't want the dev values to be part of the commit. So you have a few options. Retain is we push everything. Remove is we push nothing. And ignore changes is if there are some values in the remote version and you used another value here locally, we won't overwrite what is already in the repo. So by using the right strategy, depending on how you, it really depends on your internal processes and how you want to manage those parameters and how you deal with flows and how they are distributed and how you promote your flows from dev environments to production environments. You have those strategies that can be useful. I won't go into the details, but that's something that I wanted to mention. This is something quite new. I think the first version where we introduced this was NiFi 2.4, I believe, or 2.5. I don't remember. So yeah, something I wanted to mention because this is worth mentioning. Okay, that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about, just to show the latest and greatest of this GitHub action. As I was mentioning before, you can directly go to the repository of this action here. You can submit issues, pull requests to provide some changes. This is completely open to anyone. I was doing this demo using Snowflake OpenFlow, so the NiFi version, let's say the Snowflake version of NiFi, the Snowflake distribution of NiFi. But obviously this is also perfectly working with open source Apache NiFi. This is something that anyone is free to use. This is Apache licensed. You are more than welcome to contribute to it, request some additional checkstyle rules, improvements, and stuff like that. So I hope you like it, and I hope you enjoy the video. Feel free to comment, provide some feedback. I know I'll always say this, but I will try to make more videos in the future. If there are some specific topics that you would like to see in the YouTube channel, please let me know. I will try to make videos to go over the new, let's say, improvements and new features of the recent NiFi releases. There are some interesting stuff coming with NiFi 2.6, NiFi 2.5 also brought a lot of interesting things. So I will try to be a bit more, let's say, present and spend more time recording videos for you guys. So hope you liked it, and see you next time.